Donkey Kong 64 is my favorite game of all time. I played so many games over the years and I still consider it to be my favorite. Well, it's between that or Super Mario 64. I pretty much consider both of them to be my favorite games of all time. Donkey Kong 64 goes way back for me. Back in the day when I played it, it really did feel like I was on an adventure. There are so many places to discover, and a lot of them are even optional, so you could beat the whole game without ever even exploring that area. And that's what pretty much happened to me over all the years of playing this game. I would explore everywhere, but no matter how much I would play this game, there will always be new places that I haven't even figured out how to get to. When I was young, I had a friend who I would say got me into video games. I had people to play with, but no one would be more excited to play than him. I remember playing Super Mario Bros. 3 with him, and it was one of my most favorite memories of gaming. The main game he would play is Donkey Kong 64. Although he loved playing games, he would always ask me to beat a level. I still remember that I would be on my house doing my own thing, and he would visit so I could just go over to his house and beat Beaver Bother. For some reason, he had a big problem in beating that minigame. I actually loved it. It was my favorite minigame. Then I found out years later from the internet that it was one of the most hated and hardest minigames in Donkey Kong 64. All you have to do in that game is chase down the beavers and have them fall into a hole in the middle. But my tip is don't go directly behind them because they will not flee from you. They'll just ignore you. You have to go around them on their side instead of behind them. I like to picture a 45-degree angle line in front of me, so I use that as a guide to scare them into the hole. I used to play this game so much as a kid. I would play the single player to explore and multiplayer with my friends. Having multiplayer made this game replayable. Playing with people who get into this game and give big reactions really make the game a lot more enjoyable. This is what made me like this game more than Super Mario 64. I still prefer the controls in that game. It feels a lot faster and the levels are much more replayable than Donkey Kong 64. Even though I would play the game a lot as a kid, I never actually beat it. I would always get stuck right before I could get the last key. I needed the Nintendo coin and I had no idea on how to get it. It wasn't until years later when I finally get back into the game and I actually beat it. It felt so weird because the final boss feels so much different than the whole game. Maybe because I experienced everything many times except for that final boss. But seeing the final boss and those last cutscenes make the game feel fresh, and it still amazed me on what this game had to offer. This game has so many collectibles. It is insane on how many things you have to collect for each level with each playable character. I'm sure it is a big hassle for a lot of people, especially people who have OCD. This reason alone is what makes the game so hated in the first place. That and having to go to specific spots in order to switch characters. I'm someone who has OCD, yet this game is still my favorite game of all time. Yes, it bothers me when I see a set of coins just laying there. I just have to pick them up. But after playing this game so many times, I already know when it's the right time to switch characters and pick them up later. This game actually helps me with this problem I have of not collecting everything. Over the years of playing this game, of course there were times where I did not want to collect everything. In some playthroughs, I didn't want to collect everything. I just wanted to play the game without worrying about collecting every single little collectible that was not necessary to beat the game. Little by little, by ignoring them, it just helped me get over that feeling of being annoyed. Even in real life, I accepted that not everything is obtainable and I don't have to know everything. Collecting every single thing at every playthrough shouldn't be required for me to have fun playing this game. I mean, I already did it a couple times, so at least I already have it in my conscience. One thing I would like to address is one of the problems of this game, and that is switching characters. Yes, it would be better if we were able to switch characters on the spot. It would make the game a lot faster. There is a lot of backtracking in this game, and many of it is because you are going to an area with the wrong character. Of course, no one's going to know who to play as if they're unfamiliar with the game or playing this game for the first time. Many people who play video games don't really replay the same game because they're either too busy with their lives or they have so many other video games out there. There is no way that people are going to go back to a game that they do not enjoy for the first time. It's not worth it. So now we go back to the topic. Why is this my favorite game of all time since there's a lot of things wrong with this game? Sure, not every game is perfect, but this game has so many deal breakers when compared to other games. Well, to answer that question, since I've been playing this game so many times, I have the experience. And by that I mean I have my own playstyle that I enjoy, and my experience is not the same as others. The way I play this game makes it fun for me, and maybe I could do the same for others, but I don't expect it to, since my way is not the definitive way to play. I know there's no definitive way to play this game. Everyone has their own ways of playing this game, and since the game is open world, it can be played in so many different ways. Every time I play this game, I always discover new things. I discovered many shortcuts and easier way to play the game, and it becomes more enjoyable to play. Especially now since we have access to the internet, there are many more things I can learn about this game. Usually when I want to get good at a game, I play the game many times and get used to the controls. If I like the game controls, that is a huge plus for me. Sometimes when I play a popular game that everyone is playing, if I don't like the controls, then it usually ruins the game for me. Even after I think I'm good at the game and learn as much as I can to get to know more about it, I look at speedrunners to see how they play the game. Speedrunners play the same game for many months and even many years, so if there is anyone who would help me make the game easier for me, and by discovering new tricks and shortcuts, it would be them. Even after seeing how speedrunners play Donkey Kong 64, they are insane, and there is no way I'm going to dedicate my time learning how to play as they do. I give them many praises and accomplishments they have reached by practicing the insane and precise movements you have to do in this game, but that is way too much for me, and I'd rather play the game how I want to play. I highly recommend Donkey Kong 64 for people who are curious about the game and people who are into platformers. One thing I recommend when playing this game is don't let the collection aspect ruin it for you. Just enjoy on exploring and beating the game. You don't need to collect everything in order to beat the game. It is possible to 101% complete this game, but you still don't have to collect everything such as bananas or coins to reach that. Just play the game for fun instead of collecting everything. And if you like the game, you could always replay it. And every time you do, you will always notice something new about the game, and eventually it'll be easier. Once you get comfortable enough with the game, you can challenge yourself to collect everything. I'll use Super Mario Bros. As an example. You don't have to collect every single coin you see. That'll make the game tedious and it could ruin your experience. This game gave me so many great memories and fun moments that I'm glad that it was one of the first games that really got me into gaming. There are many other modes you can play, such as boss battles, challenges, and multiplayer. If you have other people who enjoy this game, you can spend hours competing in this game. Playing with others will always guarantee you to have a different experience every single time you play. I used to play this game a lot as a kid, and hopefully one day I could experience it again online. This game has been officially released on the Nintendo 64 and on the Wii U Virtual Console. The Nintendo 64 version is my favorite because the game's controls uses the C buttons from the Nintendo 64 controller. This is a bit of a trip, but if you press on the C left button while holding Z, the Kong will take out their weapon. And if you double press the C button, the Kong will take out their weapon and aim right away. You could also do this while you're aiming with your weapon. They will put away the weapon and stop looking in first person. I'm sure this was intentional because at no point you had to press the C up button to aim. This is something I use a lot throughout the game, and it feels awkward using that with the right stick on the Wii U controller. I usually like to map the X and Y buttons on the controller to emulate the left and right C buttons from the Nintendo 64 controller. Hopefully Nintendo can release this on their current consoles so that people can experience this game for the first time. I just hope they don't release this game at the same time with other popular games, or else it's never going to get the recognition it deserves. Well, I hope you got to see another perspective on this game. I'm not trying to change your opinion of this game. If you still don't like this game, I completely understand. There is no game out there that everyone is going to like, especially this game since it has its flaws and it's known by the gaming community to be a game with bad level design. But I just wanted to let you know, at least in my perspective, that the game is not that bad. It's not perfect, but I don't really mind at all. Thank you for taking your time and watching this video and making it through the end. It's been something that I've been wanting to talk about for some time, and I'm so glad that I finally got it out of my system. I do see myself playing this game many more times in the future. It is so fun for me and it takes me back to the good old days. Let me know what you think about this game. If you like this game and agree with what I have to say about it, please leave a comment about what you think about the game. That'll make me feel like I'm not alone at this. It will also bring the DK64 fans together. I'm sure that's something we need. If you disagree, leave it in the comments too. I want to hear all perspectives. If there's a game that you like and it's not publicly liked, say it in the comments. You'd be surprised that there are some people who would agree with you. What is your favorite game of all time? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.